Hey, 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 hey. Happy Monday. Um, these live things, they don't ever get easier for anybody that does them. Like, if you could feel my heartbeat right now, like my heart is literally jumping out of my chest. Like, I'm surprised that I even have words right now. But that's okay, right? Hey, hey, hey. Today is Mental Health Monday. So I definitely, I felt called to talk about this earlier. So I'm going to do it now. I know it's probably like the worst time to do it anyways, because you guys are just getting home from work and you guys have kids and you got all that stuff going on. But I wanted to just share a little bit of my story on mental health, how I got over it. Not over it. I'm not over it. It's never ending. But I just want to talk a little bit about everything about mental health. Like, it's something that we all need to talk about as much as possible. So actually what I'm going to do is I think what I'm going to start doing is making Mondays, Mental Health Mondays. I think opening the door to the conversations about mental health will really help people. And to be honest with you guys, I've literally been talking about this topic all day long, starting with this morning. I don't know why, but I woke up with the straight thought of like mental health for some reason. So that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to backtrack a little bit here. I would say about 5 years ago. So 5 years is when I started getting anxiety, depression, panic attacks, all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't really say that depression just kind of hit me. I would more so say that it was probably already there, but it was heightened during probably a really hard time in my life. Which for me, the only thing that I really target my anxiety to would be getting my dog, right? So about 5 years ago, I got my dog. So 5 years ago, I had already been to the doctor and already been prescribed certain medications and things like that. So I was already on like a mixture of meds, and we were doing what they typically do when you go to a psychiatrist and you talk and they put you on certain medications. So what you do is it's like a trial and error, right? So you go in, you discuss what your problems are, and then you go home with a package of medications. And then, did y'all just see that, or was that me? I thought I saw a flicker there. So what happened was, I had been on a certain med and I had a prescription of them. And one of these days I ended up just feeling like total crap, right? For me, I'll say what it was. If it worked for you, that's great. It wasn't a medication. Hi, babe. It wasn't a medication that worked for me, but Xanax is totally something that literally made me make the worst decisions If you're new and you're joining, we're talking about mental health. Every Monday, we're going to try to talk some part of mental health. So join in, ask questions. If you want to join in the live, you can do that too as well. Hey, Britt. So, backtrack. 5 years ago, I woke up one day, felt like crap, ended up taking one of my Xans that was prescribed, which was fine, right? Doctor's orders. Literally went to a dog store. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I really kind of wish I wasn't, but that's okay. So I ended up buying a dog, right? Out of the blue, right? That was definitely a very impulsive decision. And that's typically what happens when you have anxiety or depression or bipolar or any kind of mental health issue. You make very impulsive decisions. So you literally do things with little or no thought. So here I am. I actually was with a friend of mine. And we went and I told myself that I was just going to go look, right? I was just going to go look at the dogs. And then I took one of those Xanaxes that were supposed to help me, and it did the complete opposite. So it ended up making everything worse. Go into the pet store. I come home with Chewy, right? 5 years ago. He was 5 last year, so he's going to be 6 this year. So we're going on 6 years. So I bought a $2,000 dog. 2,000. Like, I'm not kidding when I say $2,000 for a dog. Like a dog. Hey, Boo Thing. We're talking mental health. So join in my live if you want, because I love you. But yeah, so I bought Chewy. I didn't even buy him straight out, right? Like, how crazy is this? Like, I leased my dog. So I paid half of him up front out of my bank account, and then the other half I put on a credit card. So I literally leased my dog until I paid him off. That was a wild time, right? Fast forward a little bit, some different medications, some more trial and error comes into play. And then, I mean, I don't know what it was. I knew that these pills weren't good for me. Oh yeah, you know what? He is worth every penny. And I look back and it was it was a bad decision at the time, but he's brought me now nothing but love. The first couple months were rough. I'm not gonna lie. I'll get more to that in just a second on how that went down. Actually, let me get into that right now, and then I'll go to the next part. So I got Chewy, and I was already anxious and depressed and had a lot of stuff going on in my life and all this jazz. So I already had so much going on. So then it gets worse. So I ended up, I had Chewy for about a week, and I remember this like it was yesterday. So I went and I went with my mom to the pet store, and we were going to buy dog food and dog toys and all that good stuff, right? Like, super excited to have a dog. So we go to Walmart, and I remember going down the pet aisle and I literally felt my throat start to close, and I couldn't breathe, and like life just felt like I couldn't go on. Like, I had no clue what was happening to me. So like I told my mom, I was like, oh my God, I'm like freaking out. So we put everything down and we immediately leave. And it didn't really get better at that point. And that was one of the first times I ever was hospitalized for a panic attack. So Ended up going to the hospital. Everything obviously turned out okay, but has anybody ever had one of those? If you have, what did it feel like for you? What did you do? How did you overcome it? Anything like that. So that was the first of many panic attacks for me. At the time, I correlated everything to my dog because that was the only thing that had recently changed for me. And I had never had a dog on my own, and the fact that my dog could fit in the palm of my hand was like so overwhelming to me. Like I felt like I was gonna crush him at like any point, which I did multiple times because when he was a puppy, he used to sleep with me. So yeah. Couple weeks went by and I got better. I had actually given Chewy to my sister temporarily. I had to fix myself. So when we're in the fight or fear, whatever that saying is, when we're in that situation, you have to do what's best for you. So at that time, like I wasn't gonna obviously like get rid of my dog, and I couldn't take him back. It wasn't like I could be like, hey, I'm refunding my dog, here, take him back. So I couldn't do that. So I gave him to my sister, and then I got myself a little bit better. And by a little bit better, I mean I just switched my meds and this and that. So that was that. When it comes to that first specific situation, now life's great when it comes to Chewy, but it definitely was a rocky start. But I'm super grateful for that little guy, and he has brought the best out of me. I actually think that this was supposed to be a part of my journey somehow, in some way. Like we obviously don't think that in specific times, like in that moment when we're obviously feeling like we're dying or something like that, or like just whatever's going on couldn't be any worse. We obviously feel like that, but looking back now, everything that was supposed to happen happened, and I'm super grateful for the journey of it. But so we'll fast forward a little bit to a second time that I made the worst, most impulsive decision ever, being on prescription medication, which sucks too, because it can really impair your life. Not in a good way. So I went in one day. This was about like a year later, less than a year later probably. So that was a bad year for impulsive decisions for me. So that year I had went into the car dealership, right? It's gonna get an oil change. I had what car did I have? I had a black Toyota. I loved that car. It was so nice. No, I'm lying. Kidding. That was the car after that. What happened the first time was I had like the best Toyota ever. Hey apes, we're talking mental health. So we're talking about the times that I made really shitty decisions. So I had a car, I had 0% financing on it. I had like $5,000 left on it to pay off. This girl went in one day to get an oil change, and I came out with a brand new car. That was another crazy deal for me. Like I literally came back, I was living with my dad at the time. I came back and I literally came inside and I'm like, hey dad, and he's like, what the fuck happened to you? And I was like, I bought a car. And he's like, I see that. Like, you had a car when you went in. Why do you have a different one? And at that time, like, I did everything on my own. So, like, I signed the paperwork. I made the deal, like, and I wasn't working there at the time. So, like, I didn't get any sort of discount or any sort of anything. I got nothing. So, like, I literally, I think that tops, like, that's worse than the dog story right there. Like, that was, like, that was literally just throwing money right down the damn drain. Literally, like, take 20 grand and just shove it out my butthole. Like, that shit was ridiculous. I still look back and I'm like, I can't believe that. If you're my friend and we talk, like, I still talk about how I can't believe that I traded in that car when I could have that shit paid off and my life would have been, woo, great. But yeah, so, I don't know. I knew things were bad. So, like, I knew that I needed to fix myself. And, what happened was Herbalife fell in my lap. And I learned how to take care of my mind, body, and soul. Not just, I didn't know that before. I didn't know that we had different parts of ourselves that we needed to take care of. I didn't know about self-love. I didn't know about self-esteem. I didn't know about going to the gym. I didn't know about eating healthy. I didn't know that certain foods were linked to certain types of mental health issues. So for me, it was just a lot of unlearning of certain things and then relearning of actual facts. So I research stuff. Like, I ask a lot of questions. Like, I'm constantly just always, like, if you see me on my phone, I'm not bullshitting on it. If you see me on my computer, I'm not bullshitting on it. Like, I'm always doing something productive. I don't watch TV. The only show that I probably watch is Power. But if y'all have been watching Power, that shit has been pretty freaking lame for the last, 2 episodes. So I'm not even super impressed right now. But yeah, I'm always asking questions. I wrote down some notes here just so I could keep myself on track. Is my light flashing or is that me? That was the second time, right? That was weird. Okay, I already talked about most of these. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if there's something that you can do or something that has worked for you, I think it's in your power to share it. And I think you have a responsibility to share. Even though it's uncomfortable. I don't know if you remember at the beginning of this live video, my heart was pumping out of my chest. But as comfortable as I am now, it wasn't like that 5 or however many minutes ago it was when I started this video. You have to be uncomfortable in order to grow, or you have to literally just, no matter what's going on, if you found a solution and you think it's working, just keep going. A couple things, obviously I'm not a doctor. I can't really sit here and recommend stuff. Disclaimer at the bottom here, disclaimer right there at the bottom. Not a medical doctor, can't recommend anything for you guys. Just always telling what works for me, and maybe one day that could work for you. One of my goals whenever I was on medication was to get off of it. I literally, every person that I went to, I was like, this is only going to be temporary. I'm not going to be on medication forever. I have goals. I want to have a family. I want to have kids, and all these prescriptions that are for these specific mental health issues. I'm supposedly not able to have a baby because I have to be on these meds, especially when it comes to insomnia medications. If anybody's had insomnia, I used to take a medication to help me sleep. So, and that one specifically says don't get pregnant. That's not okay for me. You're not going to, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is right now, but basically you're not gonna put barriers in front of me that prevent me from doing something. And if one is a medication, you best believe I'm not gonna be on that crap anymore. So for the life of me, I will always recommend CBD oil. This is Onyx and Rose. This is a company online here on Instagram. So if you just look up the company Onyx and Rose, you'll find their company. I truly trust their whole brand. Every company that they have, I pretty much love. So I really like that one. I'm a full-time believer in creating a routine That really helped me to set goals and to stay organized, and to look forward to something. A lot of anxiety and depression is because you're so focused on what you lack. So if you focus more on what you have versus what you don't have, I think that will also be a key factor in helping you overcome a lot of the issues that you could have, especially mentally. Our brains are super powerful. So I know I used to be a very negative Nancy, Nelly, Debbie Downer. Like, no bull. I actually like got fired for being a negative person. So if you're from my old job and you're watching, cheers to you guys, because to be honest with you, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because that really was a mirror and a reflection of what I needed. Like, I mean, obviously I didn't think I was super negative. I was going through a really tough time outside of work at the time. Like, I was, that's something I'm not even going to talk about. So just a really hard time outside of work. And I guess it had been showing at work. So I was let go by a certain company, which is fine. Since then, I've been able to manifest my way into a position that I would have never landed had I stayed at that job. So I'm actually super grateful that happened, because this is exactly where I was meant to be. I'm doing the job that I was exactly made to do, with, I think, the people that I was supposed to do it with. So every day I literally wake up and tell myself how grateful I am for what I have now. I think that's why I felt super called to do this type of live today on mental health. Because like I literally was almost in just tears this morning, because like the days that I used to pray for are the days that I have right now. And that's huge. It literally, it makes, oh shit. I didn't think okay, give me a second here. Guys, I didn't think I was gonna cry. I'm gonna try not to. Shit. Just keep going. Even when things get super tough, I mean, there were times where I didn't think I was gonna make it, right? Like times where, like, I mean, I didn't. There were times where I almost didn't make it. So looking back and being here now and the lights flickering yet again, looking back and then being where I'm at right now, even though it's been 5 years since all of that started. So it's not like it's been 2 days or 2 months. It's been 5 years that I've been dealing with anxiety, depression, insomnia, OCD. I didn't even mention OCD, but I definitely have OCD symptoms as well. Like, I'm obviously a nurse, so you guys know that, but I guess being in the nursing field, you kind of like to stay clean. So I would say that mostly just my OCD co-inspires with just being cleanly. But I'm also doing more research on that, and that has to do more with like anxieties too. So I still have anxious tendencies. Like, again, if you were here when I first started this video, I mentioned how my chest was literally or my heart was just like jumping out of my chest. But being that it's been, I don't know how long it's been, 10, 15, 20 minutes that I've been talking, like my heart rate's returned and I feel comfortable and I'm calm and I'm cool. So that's kind of just what things are. Like, if you just jump, you just got to do it. That sucked though. I didn't want to tear up. But again, just super grateful for the journey. I'm super grateful that one person's watching this right now. Like, if you're the one, like, this is for you. Like, if I help one, that's all that matters. Literally, like, that's all I care about. Like, I'm not here to be popular. I'm not here to be famous. Like, I'm just trying to make a difference. And most of the time making a difference isn't really being popular or anything like that. And it's really not popular. Like, and I'm not looking for that. So that's cool. So hopefully some things that I talked about can help you. Again, most of the things that I would recommend would be like sticking to a routine. I get up super early in the morning, I journal, and or I gratitude journal. I do a lot of personal development. I do a lot of CBD oil. I love looking into new products and things like that. One of my newest products I would say that I've had a lot of good results with so far is the Organifi Gold. The other day I had a headache and I drank this, and this literally took away my headache in like 5 seconds. I'm not a fan of medications. Again, I don't judge. I give out medications all day long at my job. They're necessary for certain things, and you know that is what it is. I will take one if I absolutely have to. But if I don't have to and there's a way around it, I'm not going to. Magnesium is a really good supplement that you can take that helps with anxiety. We as Americans, because of the quality of the food, it's very deficient in minerals. So magnesium is a mineral and we don't get enough of it. So I was actually told by my psychiatrist that she could prescribe me any kind of medication, but nothing would work better than magnesium. So you guys could check that out too. I definitely think that would be something that that definitely helps. What else do I use? Let me look behind me here. Again, I just created a routine. I started taking vitamins. I just really started taking care of myself. And that's when I really saw a change in my mental health state. I started to be able to see the calmness, and my brain used to not go crazy like it used to. I went to the doctor because like my brain was just nonstop going and going and going and going. And I literally felt like I hadn't slept in like 2 weeks, and sleep is super important. If you're not sleeping properly, like you can die from a lack of sleep. So it's super important to take care of yourself. Like health is wealth. So if you can prevent anything, you should stay on that side of Western medicine if you want, I guess, whatever you call it. But you should definitely prevent as opposed to having to actually intervene, which is what you don't want, because then that's when you end up in my office and I end up having to pull your tooth out. So get your teeth cleaned too. But Natural Calm is a great supplement that I use. I was using the drink formula of this, but then I found gummies, and I'm such a fan of gummies because these are super convenient. I don't really have the time to be making drinks all day long, especially with my job. Don't get me wrong, I would love to just drink tea or something all day long, but I can't. This is like leaking. Something's leaking. I don't know which one's leaking, but something's leaking. I don't know. But these are my 2 CBDs. These are water-soluble CBDs. So that means that they can go into a drink. So I actually specifically got these because I wanted them to go into my drink. This is a whole plant CBD, so this takes care of pain and inflammation. So that helps me sleep really, really good. Like if I take that, I'm literally out like a light. This is just the isolate. So I literally put this in my drink from the time I wake up pretty much till the time I go to bed. Which is crazy. Like if you ask anybody, I'm probably like the CBD oil queen. I have like 3 bottles right here. So I bring it to work. I talk about it all the time, actually. One of my coworkers, even during a surgery one time, they were just like, they said CBD, And it kind of, like, the doctor was like, what? And then we were just talking about it. And I think people are super uninformed about CBD oil. CBD oil, you can find different brands that do not have any THC in them. So if that's your concern, you need to open your mind, because there's plenty of CBD oil that does not have any THC. Like these two right here specifically do not have any THC in them. This lady, I found her on Instagram. She is a godsend. And she actually is the one that I found these from, right? Because guess what? I don't have time to go and look up all this stuff, to be honest with you. So what I do is I find people's pages on my Instagram or my Facebook, and I follow them if they are somebody of value. So this lady, Mary, she is the owner of CBD Solve. So her Instagram is at Healing Cave Lady, and she's one of my favorites. There's a bunch of other ones too, but just because we're talking about CBD, I'm going to talk about her. And then Alexa, turn it up. Ooh, this is my song. Anybody know this song? And then this is my other CBD oil. This one actually does have about 0.3% THC in this. So with this, I mean, it's not like you sit there and you feel like you're high, but it's still good. So this one I typically bring with me to work. And then I pretty much, this is my favorite one, because this one actually goes under your tongue. Again, these ones go in drinks, and sometimes I don't have time to make a drink when I'm at work, so I really don't be bringing these. This one, you just need like a little bit for, not even that much. So this is what's worked for me. Again, going to the gym, getting lots of water, reading, literally doing things that are good for your soul is what helped me. And if you're not doing those things, and if you're literally just sitting there watching TV 24/7, or if you're just mindless scrolling on Instagram or on Facebook 24/7, that's gonna get you nowhere, and you're literally gonna sit there and you're gonna hate your life, and you're gonna wonder why things aren't changing for you. Well, they're not changing for you because you're not changing. So that's what I had to realize too. I had to get off my butthole, and I had to do something for myself. And nobody wants to go to the gym, especially before work or after work. And I mean, I've been working a 9 to 5 for over a decade. So, I mean, it's just me. I don't have kids, but there was a point in time when I was very busy, right? So I made excuses, but there's no excuse. There's literally no excuse. Everybody has the same 24 hours as every single person. Monday through Friday, I'm usually up at 5 a.m. I don't have to be at work until 7:30, but I'm up at 5 a.m. That's this is 2.5 hours before I gotta be at work. So from 5 to 6, I am doing soul stuff. We'll call it soul stuff. So I'm drinking my tea, I'm journaling, I'm meditating, I'm following up on my business because I have a side business. So when people say that they're busy, like, what kind of busy are you? Or are you just unproductively busy? Right? So, if you ever need help coming up with a plan, or need any sort of advice on how to potentially, if you're on a medication and you want to get off, let me know. I can help. I'm not a medical doctor, but this is what's worked for me, so it could work for you. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I think next Monday maybe we'll hop on again and we'll talk a little bit more about mental health. I think what I'll do is I will post about it a little bit more so that people are aware, so that maybe more people will hop on. And then maybe we can have more of like a group discussion. I think it would be cool to get more people involved, especially people that do have mental health issues going on. So if anybody has watched this video, or if you're going to watch the replay and you maybe want to do a live with me, I think that would be so dope, and I'd be super excited to collaborate with anybody when it comes to that, or a podcast or any sort of thing like that. I think it's super dope. If you have a story, again, I think in my heart that it's your obligation and responsibility to share it with the world. I think that we all have a purpose, and I think once you find your purpose, it is definitely your responsibility to share that with everybody, because your gift is super special, and we all need a little bit more special in the world. So with that being said, I'm gonna sign off for Monday. I got my notes here. I'm gonna drink the rest of my turmeric tea. It's got a blend of mushrooms in it, which is pretty dope. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their Mental Health Monday. I hope you do something great for yourself. Take a bath, read a book. I hope that you forever are taking care of yourself and doing something for yourself each and every day that makes your soul happy. Because if you're not, then it's a waste of this beautiful life. We were given so much, and we have so much to offer each other, that it's literally just better to lock arms and do it together as opposed to having to do it alone. Again, so if you're ever feeling like that too, just chat me up in one of these little boxes up here. I'd be happy to talk to y'all anytime.